Now, our clients pay thousands of dollars to be on these calls, but I'm about to share this one with you completely for free because you guys know what I feel. There's enough out there for us to all win. Now, this video is one of our Brick by Brick founders, Danielle. Now, Danielle is killing it, crushing it, and she did a call for our community telling exactly how she's doubled her following in just 4 weeks of being in our Brick by Brick program. Now, she literally shares screen, she walks through everything. She's posting on TikTok and LinkedIn, so she gives game for both of those platforms. So tap in, tune in, and let me know if you like this style. Danielle, what is going on? How are you?
Good. Finally settled into Atlanta, so I can get back to posting more often. But yeah, I'm excited to be back.
Posting more often. Do you feel like you haven't been posting that often?
Well, like not on LinkedIn. I mean, y'all are posting every day, like multiple times a week, and I'm like, okay, one post for the week I could do. TikToks are
Yeah,
a lot easier for me to just like churn out.
yeah, yeah. Are you reposting those videos on LinkedIn, some of them?
Some of them, yeah, but
Okay,
that's a very new concept. Like
okay.
posting on LinkedIn is scary in general, but now I'm like, oh Lord, videos, like, we'll see.
I love it. All right. Well, I was gonna kick off with like a win, right? So like Jonathan, there was this really good post. I was looking like I don't even know where to start here. There is a lot of different things that I could call out. I do want to talk about one specific post, but I do want to make this like pretty just open as to like what you're doing, how you're innovating, because the wins are wild. Um, this friend that I also mention a lot that watches your content and loves your content is actually here with me visiting my family as well. And so I was like, I'm
Oh,
about to jump on a call with your favorite girl.
hey.
So it is really big wins. One post I wanted to talk through, and then I do want to talk about video and just like all the different things that you're doing or seeing. This post seemed to do really, really well. Can you walk me through like this post? I can't, unfortunately, I expanded it, y'all, but we can just imagine. I'm assuming this was like the first two lines right here that folks could
Yeah.
see. And
Uh-huh.
then this is the photo attached, right? Amazing, amazing photo. Can you walk me just again through this post and your thought process around it and anything like I asked Jonathan, anything that came even from this post.
Yeah, okay. So the post came about through, the brick by brick homework, like trying to create more posts that actually align with my ICP and like transformations and things like that. And so I feel like for most of the year, I was just making content based on observations of what I was seeing in business school, but wasn't really actively speaking to anybody in particular. So I decided to, actually try to speak to somebody and talk about my experiences. And I feel like I've gotten so many coffee chat requests from prospective students that are like, oh my gosh, I need to get into Harvard because it's the best school. And they don't even know if they really need to be in business school like that, but they just want to go. And I keep trying to tell people it's like not an easy 2 years. It's really hard and you go through a lot. And so I think a lot of people go into coffee chats with me thinking I'm just going to give them the keys to get in. And oftentimes we end up leaving and they're wondering whether they should even go at all or like, just
Yeah.
really getting the reality of what it's like.
I
And
like
so,
wait, before we actually even keep diving into this, I know, but I want the room to know and I want the recording to know. Can you
yeah.
actually tell us like who the ICP is and like the transformation that you're hoping they have?
Yeah, exactly. So my ICP right now are young professionals that are ambitious in like prestigious kind of jobs like consulting, finance, but have some kind of creative itch and just don't feel like they know how to do that or like how to pivot out of something like that. And so
Mm,
it's like giving them tips or confidence to just pursue the non-traditional route.
I love that. And how are you thinking about, I know we've talked about this, but how are you thinking about like monetizing that?
Yeah, so that's a work in progress. So it's a mix of, doing coaching or like digital products to help them. But I also want to engage organizations that hire these kinds of young professionals and do workshops or consulting for them on how to attract this new generation of talent that all want to have side hustles and not just, spend their whole lives working at one company.
Yeah, I love that. I love that too because it's a huge. I love anything, obviously, product service that we can easily see the problem and position ourselves or a product or service as a solution, right?
Hmm.
Problem there, especially when we go to corporate. I also love going uh, to where the money resides first and then downstream, right? Because it just gives me more options as I even move to do more things that I want to do, right?
Hmm.
But if I target corporations, big problem that I can like pull out here is retention, right? A
Yeah.
lot of big corporations are battling with retention. They probably are resting in like, oh, it's if I have a hybrid work week versus this, and it's like actually it's not about you having a hybrid work week or work from home or work in office or free lunch. It's giving your team and your employees like freedom to do and be, right? And so I can come in and help you even retain your best employees by helping you with X, right? Or doing monthly workshops with your team who's going to see like such a value add by doing this, and you're going to win on the back end. If Casey is making great content and saying, "Oh my God, I love working at Goldman Sachs actually wins probably more than Casey, right?"
Yeah.
And so helping them see that, I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. The biggest lesson I got from my love the numbers. I was calling this out with John. Maybe it was someone else that we were looking at that night. But numbers, if we can use numbers, y'all, please always use them. The biggest lesson I got from my $200,000 Harvard University MBA. I love the tag too. Audacious.
Thanks.
Um, was this the first hook you came up with?
No, I was looking through my like chat GPT like history and making the post. And let me see. So no, it was not.
Yeah.
I think this came like what you were saying last earlier this week on the call, this kind of came out of this was earlier, like later on in the post, and then I brought it up because I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
is attention
Yeah.
grabbing.
Yeah, and paired with, right? And this is what I was telling someone, and I want to put words to this. I didn't say this on Wednesday, but when we have a photo, which I love photos, when we have a photo, it gives us a chance at a second hook, right? So this is hook number one, whatever we say. And I won't even say hook number one. Maybe we could say, um, because I don't think it goes in this order. I actually think visually, if we use the photo really, really good, I actually think the photo is hook number one, right? The visual
Mhm.
hook, right? I say this the same with like TikTok videos and stuff. Before you even start speaking or getting into the story, the visualness, whether it's just an overlay or like you're in a cool background or something, like the visual thing is actually going to be the first hook. And then whatever comes next is the next hook, right? But we have two opportunities for hooks. This is one hook, and then this paired with this,
Yeah.
right? I'm now curious. I'm now like who's this girl? What are you saying? Success doesn't automatically go to the most credentialed or prepared people, right? So these are again, I'm assuming are the first two lines here
Mhm.
plus this. I love
Yeah.
that. The stop 10 out of 10. And then we get into, and I won't go through this whole post here, right? But we get into then the story. This, I'm already scanning this and I'm already seeing where the story is going. I've read this. But one, format it super well. Two, it's earning the right to keep somebody on here to stay with each word, each line, right? And then some transformation. It's
Yeah.
not just about me, right? I love this. I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to call out with this post. Do you know how many impressions this post got?
Yeah, let me see. So it got 41,000 impressions.
Wow. Wow. That's dope. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, Awesome. I love it. Um, I want to talk about video and I want to just talk about like just things that you're doing in general.
Mhm.
But how have you, I know you create a lot on TikTok. How have you seen like the inflow of opportunities on LinkedIn versus TikTok? Just curious.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, so I started posting on LinkedIn because I wasn't really getting much of anything on TikTok. I think with TikTok, you can be more, candid, but you also get a lot of casual, kind of random followers. And so I was launching a coaching business 2 years ago, mostly just posting on TikTok and would get so many like consultation requests or people that ultimately could not pay for services. So I was like actually about to scratch TikTok altogether and focus on LinkedIn and building a professional audience. From LinkedIn, I haven't really seen much. That's part of my like push. week goal of like actually starting to connect with people because I also haven't really been doing inbound networking and have mostly just been getting a bunch of DMs of people wanting to chat about business school. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I love that call out, right? Because how I would think about this, and this goes for anyone too that's like creating on both. Um, I think I've called this out to you for y'all. LinkedIn, I don't think is necessarily the best like discoverability platform, right? I have the same view around YouTube. TikTok and Instagram, huge for discovering, right? Huge short form video, I should say. And then TikTok and Instagram kind of dominate in that space, but huge for discoverability. And so I would think about this and obviously keep playing and keep like ideating. And I want to like keep in touch as to like how things are progressing. But I would say, and especially knowing folks that consume your content on TikTok, those people also exist on LinkedIn, probably
Mhm.
just as much, right? But it's like if I discover you and like see your vibe, see your personality and stuff on TikTok, I discovered you, I became aware of who you are. I probably am going to continue to get nurtured by you here on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
right? Or feel more in like conversation and community with you here on LinkedIn. I talked to you about DeAndre Brown, the corporate baddie, right? I was having the same conversation with him around you have this huge awareness moat. If somebody had another platform to really get nurtured by you, the what I call like the relationship, the tension with the relationship would be that much stronger, right?
Yeah.
And then we don't have to rely on brand deals as much as now we can really monetize from our audience because they feel so attached to us, right? And so I think where it could land is like TikTok is really, really good, obviously, like for awareness, and we need the awareness at the top. And then LinkedIn or YouTube or Substack, right, continues to be like our big nurture platforms. But
Yeah.
yeah, all right, let's hear more about anything else LinkedIn specific that you think could be like helpful or that you've tried in the past month or so that's worked really well or hasn't even worked that well on LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, I think one thing is just focusing on the hooks, like especially on LinkedIn, as you keep emphasizing. I think the biggest thing I learned from TikTok and posting and growing much slower initially than I saw other creators is that you really have to start off with a bang and like keep people interested, even if it's saying something that is kind of crazy or like which is can be scary for most of us who are coming from corporate backgrounds and are taught to, never say always or never or just like always be kind of like hedging your bets. And so strong hooks are the biggest key to my growth on LinkedIn so far and just saying wild stuff that make people want to click into it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is something that at first I think it was because some creators, right? I would personally like cringe at it. You know, I would be
Yeah.
like, ah, that's so cringy. But again, when I understand like the impact that I'm trying to have, I have to become a better creator with my packaging to then even get my content out there to have the impact that I want to have, right? And so
Mhm.
it's like I remember I used to think this all the time, like, do I want to like look at the game and just like hate the way that the game is going? Or do I want to say like, okay, here's the game, here's still what I want out of life. Let me just learn how to play this game in my favor, right? So then I can do that. And doing things like this, um, like sometimes you gotta get the packaging down. Because what happens too is what I notice, even when you read and have some intention around this, once you get here, once your audience gets here, they're just so inspired, right? Like they're
Yeah.
not like, oh, like you said this number, or like this is click. Like they're like, hey, I got something out of this, right? And so what we do again is use the hook to just get the person to stop. But every post, whether it's video or whatever, it needs to have some sort of transformation, right? And that's when we build and have goodwill and have a personal brand that has a lot of integrity attached to it from the viewer and the reader, right? It's not just like, hey, I hooked you in with something crazy and then I got you,
Yeah.
right? It's like I have a transformation also for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
like
you're
that.
like also, I think what helped too is just like looking at my favorite creators and noticing on TikTok, oh, wait, why did I stop and watch this video? What about that video hooked my attention? And that really changed how I started making, because my content was like mad boring before, I would say. Like I probably wouldn't stop and look at it if I was looking at it now. So learning
Yeah,
from others
yeah.
helps a lot.
And having that like honest conversation with yourself, right? I tell y'all this all the time. Y'all watch me like really sit down. Or I was an athlete, right? You would used to have to sit down and watch tapes. This interview I was telling y'all about on Wednesday, Oprah apparently. I didn't hear from her. I heard it in an interview about her. But Oprah apparently rewatched 10,000 of her interviews. So the first 10,000 interviews she did, she would sit and watch it every evening and just rewatch herself, right? And
Oh,
critique and get better. And so I think it's the same thing. We have to look at our own content and just be honest with ourselves. Like if I did not know me, like would I stop on this? Is this boring? One
no.
thing that one of my biggest weaknesses, especially in video, I'm very monotone. I know this about myself because I watch my videos a lot, right?
Yeah.
Something else I do, I never really talked with my hands, especially on YouTube or TikTok. You will see me now like intentionally and talking with my hands just to like add something to
Mhm.
it, right? That
Mhm.
only came from me looking at my videos, reading my posts, and be like,
Mhm.
this is freaking boring. Like I would not watch this, you know?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
I love that. Um, cool. Okay, I want to go back to LinkedIn. Talk to me about TikTok. What's going on over here? Just yeah, just walk me through. It seems like you're doing a series. Um, yeah, just walk me through what's going on TikTok.
Yeah, so I've been like actively, heavily pivoting out of just the MBA admission space to broader career confidence type stuff. It really all kicked off with that video about Audacity that like really blew up and it gave me like 8,000 new followers. It was really big. And so I've just been kind of leaning into that and focusing on how to make it, valuable for people. I think the biggest
Cool.
shift in my content has been like making it really relevant to the viewer, even if they're not necessarily trying to go to business school, and just like expanding the audience beyond such a niche topic has been helpful.
I want to play this one video, so let me share my sound. Is that okay if I play it? I
Okay.
think I know it's so awkward to watch. There you go. It's also like, how can you say no at this point? You might get out of it because my volume has not been working.
Need
Okay,
audacity,
here we go. Did you guys hear it? Okay,
thrive in life, and here's how you're going to get some of that in your life.
let
So I
me
think the
start it
very
over.
first biggest takeaway I had from Harvard Business School is that you literally,
Right there. Where are we in? 2 seconds in. Right?
yep,
I used to say this when I used to study videos a lot. Like, okay, the hook is in the first 3 seconds. The hook, especially because all of us are just sitting there going like this, right? Like we're not stopping. The hook happens in the first millisecond. Really,
yep,
the first second. Overlay. You literally just need Audacity, the tutorial. Within the first second, I hear Harvard Business School, right? There's some quick things in there that are like,
hmm,
okay, let me just now give this girl a chance first, and there's some curiosity. I hear Harvard Business School, and then I see this overlay. You literally just need Audacity, and then you're telling me it's a tutorial. Like, what is this?
right,
Like, what am I about to get out of this? I
yeah,
also feel like I'm gonna get something out of this too because you're saying it's a tutorial. So you're like priming me to feel like, hey, I have something for you, right?
exactly, yep.
Yeah. Was that intentional?
Yeah, because some of my older videos, I started looking at analytics and seeing, okay, what videos did I get the most followers from? How are they structured and that kind of thing. And I saw that a strong hook with the text overlay helped a lot. So I started doing that more.
I love that. I love that. And this is the one that you're saying brought like 8,000 followers.
Yeah, or actually, no, the second tutorial video got even
Oh,
more, but this was the one
okay.
that started it.
Okay.
You just need audacity and delusional self-confidence to thrive in life. And here's how you're going to get some of that in your life. So I think the very first thing that a lot of people overlook is having the mindset that you are giving yourself permission to take up space. I think there are a lot of merits to being quiet, humble, introverted. I love that. But when you're in an environment like Harvard Business School, I'm sorry, like it doesn't matter. Like you are not going to do well because you are surrounded by all these people that are more extroverted and are willing to put themselves out there, and you are just going to get overshadowed, unfortunately. You're not.
Couple call outs here. Your thoughts, and I don't know, I generally don't talk like this, but your thoughts are very concise. So just like I have this feedback on written posts. Let's
Mhm.
take out any filler words. Let's take out any words that don't move the story forward. The same thing exists in video. So what me if I'm not intentional about it. And what a lot of people do is we turn on this camera and we just start like going and we're like belaboring the point. Like we're just yapping for real, but like not being concise and getting to the point. You are making every word here that you are calling out in this first, where are we on? In this first 34 seconds is to the point and moves the story forward. And I know like why we're here, right? Um, did you have a script for this or anything, or did you know
Yeah,
just what story you wanted to tell?
I knew the story I wanted to tell, but I didn't script it. And I'm always, I mean, as y'all can probably tell right now, very concise in general. People usually ask me to say more or elaborate. So that's just my natural, I guess, speaking style. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that works. That
But
works
another
really
thing I
well.
would call out too is you continue, not only does the story continue, the curiosity continues, right? Because the things that you continue to say, curiosity, and I would also say like some controversy, because I'm sure there are people who feel like, oh, you need more than audacity, right? You need more than
Mhm.
like there's this continuation of like sucking people in whether they agree or disagree, right? And you've
Yeah.
done that to Casey's point for the whole first part of the video.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Did you go in thinking that this was going to be a series?
Yes, because this
Yeah.
one girl, I mean, I'm replying, this video is a
Oh,
response
she
to
said,
another
yeah, I
thing.
saw the
And
comments.
she's
Yeah.
been like commenting the last few posts of like, make it a series, make it a series. I'm like, I guess, like, if you really
Yeah.
want that, like I can do it, but
I love that. I want to also look at, so are all these posts probably like within that same series?
Not all of them.
Okay.
The first like four posts after that were tutorial related, and
Yeah.
now these are more of like my top 20 series ideas, just like testing stuff.
Got you. So this is like, I see a part three.
My biggest takeaway from
Yeah.
Harvard Business so my biggest takeaway from Harvard Business School is that you literally just need audition.
I love the repetition of the same, again, HBS, right? I just made a video about this the other day where I was calling out one of my biggest mistakes that I've made when it comes to building this brand and creating content is not leveraging all the different corporations or names or different things that you have access to or I've had access to just give me social proof to push content, right?
Yeah.
I'll talk more about that, but again, continuing to say, and are you saying this in most videos? Are you saying that like HBS line?
I stopped around the fifth one, but I noticed any video where I mention Harvard at all, like gets way more views. So I've been just leaning into it more, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I love that, right? Because it's social proof. And I know
Mhm.
y'all are hearing this and be like, oh, well, it's Harvard, of course. Like, no, we all have social proof. Whether that's I have 6 kids, I'm an expert on being a mom, right? Or I went to this school, or I've traveled to X amount of countries, right? Like, we all have some sort of, so I've written 13 books, or I've written one book, right? Like, we all have, when we look inside and look at our achievements or our inputs, right? I actually think inputs are so much more of social proof than even external awards, right? If I
Mhm.
came to you and I was like, hey, I've done um, 10,000 pieces of content, like, here's what I've learned, like,
Mhm.
you would stop and listen to that even more, or I won't say even more, but maybe at the same level as to say, I made a video last month that got 1 million views, right? It's like you've put in 10,000 hours to making content. Or I was watching a movie, a YouTube video the other day, and the guy started with like, I read 10,000 of these like personal like improvement books. Here's my
Mhm.
top 10, right? And it's like, well, that's social proof, right? I
Mhm.
don't know anything else about that man. I don't know what schools he went to, how much money he's made. The input was the social proof, right? And so I want y'all to take that away too, around what inputs do I have and or what achievements, what things can I call out to maybe test and try with the series or with the post to get that social proof and get that hook, right? I love that.
Mhm.
I want to play a little bit more of this too.
Audacity and delusional self-confidence to thrive in life. This is part 3 of how you can get some of that audacity for yourself. Y'all are eating it up. I'm loving it. So we've already talked about having the mindset that you need to take up more space, having 2 seconds of delusional self-confidence, courage, whatever you want to call it. But here's what people won't tell you on the way to building audacity, especially if you're the kind of person that already doesn't have it for yourself. And I do want to preface this video and say this is not for if you are already extremely extroverted, audacious. Like you should
We're 35-ish seconds in, and I still have not gotten to the answer. Stay. So what BP just called out, curiosity and stay, right? And something I was calling out in written posts the other day when I was saying the answer, I think I was telling this live, it was like, you gave me the answer too quick. Like you hooked me in, but then you gave me the answer, right? Like my brain knows, this is where that story was going, so I can swipe. My brain does not know where this is going yet. And that's who a human brain is very, like I need to put a bow on this story before I swipe. So now she's earned, when you guys hear me say this, earn the stay, she's earned my stay for at least 35 seconds. That is huge in TikTok world. In short form video world, 30, I don't know what is happening right now. Lord Jesus.
It went rogue, I guess.
In short form video world, you just earn my stay for 35 seconds. I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Right? That's the same thing that we want to do here. Because again, these platforms are just in the business of keeping their user on the platform as long as possible. Right, BP?
I think another hook too that happens is right when you were pausing it, she says, let me preface this. This is not for people who are already extroverted, right? To me, that rehooks you because there could also be this thought of like, oh, she's talking about audacity. That's not really for me, right? But then there's like, it feels like the hooks are building, right? Like you're compounding them. So it keeps people like, if I was about to get off, now you said this isn't for extroverted people. So, well, what? Right? So how are you about to teach me as an introvert, as as a person who would rather be seen and not heard, quiet, right? How are you about to teach me how to have audacity? And so I also think that is what is helping with the stay, because I don't know if you did this intentionally, Danielle, but it feels like you're intentionally rehooking your audience.
Yeah, it was not intentional, but yeah, that's a great point.
I love the second hook. One thing that I would love, it's just an idea that's coming out here.
Yeah.
If you had or read about, which I'm sure it probably exists on Substack, or if you use Perplexity, like somebody has like research or frameworks about this. But I would love to like even and like just test it. But like you with like an iPad or a whiteboard, literally writing out like a framework as to like how to become more audacious, where it's like you are literally like teaching. But it's like there's a certain audience, right, that loves graphs, they love these frameworks. I just showed our team a framework around the Eisenhower matrix. It's like right. And so like I'm sure some like sort of matrix even exists. I'm like probably it's like even part one of like how audacious are you? Like and there's scenarios and they're like funny or relatable, but it's like a serious like whiteboard session. It's like, would you do this? Like if you would do this, like you probably land over here. Like if you would do this, like you are pretty audacious. And then I get into like you need to go through this framework to like improve if you fall in one of these three quadrants, right? I think that could be really cool, and I would watch that.
Yeah, straight and then tend to my lead magnet.
Exactly.
Amazing.
And it's like just a visual hook, right? Like you still do the verbal hooks that you're doing, but you do like the visual hook of like, and it keeps you staying because I'm like, what else is gonna progress down this board, or like what is this matrix, like where do I fall, like I'm like thinking about this and I like share it, right? But yeah, that could be cool. That could be cool. Have you thought about a lead magnet yet?
Yeah, so I have a V1 version. It's basically like all the resources and tools that I use to build Audacity in my second year back and like learning how to speak up more.
I love this. Again, an idea even to continue this series, and this is for everyone. Use your lead magnet in your video and then just say if you want the rest of this or if you want more of these resources, like I have it all linked. Right? But I would go through whatever those resources are to this point. And maybe it is like a diagram or even just talking to it and link those in. I think another cool thing is like easy swipes that you could do is like podcasts I've listened to like increase audacity, right? And like just do swipes of different episodes and stuff like that. That's an easy stop, stay, and share. Because I now share that in the group chat. I share that to a friend, right? I love that. My brain is now going with all these different ideas. Let me pause and say like anything else to just like share. If you were even talking to yourself like a month ago, like all the different things that you've learned or like have innovated on. Like, what would you tell yourself a month ago to become like a better creator? Just so like even more people can hear about, again, what you're focusing on, how you've been improving, and just like, yeah, like all the different things you've done in the last month or two.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just act like you are a creator. Like, I think there's a lot of stigma around being an influencer, creator, and you're like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, it's different. Like, no, you still need to build content that gets customers or, whatever you're trying to do. And so if you own it and act as if you are, you come up with a lot more confidence than you would if you're still kind of like trying to toe that line and
Yeah.
just post. And like, that's what you need to do. They don't need to be perfect, peer reviewed essay type things. Just like get stuff out there and see what sticks.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Being a creator influencer, right? And maybe we're getting to the other side of this, but it's like it's so cringe. I even struggled with this. I remember when I like started creating content, I was like, all of my friends are in like consulting or banking, and like I'm sitting here on TikTok. Like this is so bad. And I
Yeah.
used to even I remember I went to Northwestern. I went back to a homecoming. Everybody was talking about their jobs, and I was like, I just made like TikTok videos. Like I was just like kept joking about it. But at the end of the day, I think that what I've learned, especially through the work that we do, but it's like every one, we live in this attention economy. Every corporation is trying to get more attention, right? Like that's the world we live in. And I really do believe in, regardless, and I think I made a post about this recently, but regardless of whether I'm with a corporation or owning my own business, the number one thing that I will have for the rest of my life is my brand, right? The life
Mhm.
cycle of business is like 5 years. The life cycle of me being at a corporation could be like 2 to 5 years, 7 years, right? The life cycle of me having a brand and building brand equity is for the rest of my life, right? And so if we can get out of the cringe state, um, I think we can improve. The last thing I'll say about the cringe state too is that because so many people, and we all know the folks, we were probably those folks a couple years ago, but because so many folks exist in like, it's still kind of cringe, it
Mhm.
works in our favor because supply demand, right? So many great folks, unfortunately, are not making content. Like they're just not making content. They're not sharing their experiences. And so then that gives us a leg up. Then there's a gap in the market for us to fill, right? Now, more and more, when people think this is less and less cringe, now we have more competition, right? But people always ask me, is the game saturated? No, it's not saturated because if you go sit down with any of your friends or peers, so many people are going to be like, it's cringe or like they're not consistent with it, right? Like we can see it every day. The game cannot be saturated because most of us don't even know folks that are like really consistent and creating like that, right? It can't be saturated. And so it works in our favor as well.
Yeah.
Danielle, anything else? Anything else you want to share with the folks?
Um, let's see. Yeah, I like that because I mean that's my whole thing. Like, so a lot of my friends are starting to get into TikTok, but everyone's terrified to post on LinkedIn because they think it's cringe or it's going to sabotage their job. It's not. But I mean, it might, I don't know. But generally, I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Then yeah, to just not worry about being cringe and also follow the analytics and insights and see like what about your favorite creators' videos like hook people and try to emulate some of that, or even in your own content, like what kinds of things really resonate with an audience that you can try to replicate in future videos to create this like flywheel and like use your education or background to help with building content.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I mean, it's the whole like steal like an artist, right? Again, I
Mhm.
don't know why Oprah keeps coming top of mind for me right now, but there's this quote like Oprah like just emulated Barbara Walters. She was like for my first like 10 years, like I just and if you go look at like Oprah's early interviews, her voice is so different. Like she's so serious and like it's just a different style, right? Until she kind of like got into her own style, her own flow, put her humor in there, right? But for the first 10 years, and she talks about that, it was like that allowed me to build up confidence and become comfortable, right?
Yep.
And then learn what I wanted to add in for myself. And so still, right? Still like an artist, still thoughtfully, still tactfully. The one thing I'll always call out though is don't steal and don't copy somebody from their 1 to 10. Look at their 0 to 1, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people will see these people that are 1 to 10s making vlogs or sharing all their whole family. I've said this before. The reason Tabitha Brown can post pictures of her whole family and get millions of views is because we care about that now. If
Mhm.
we didn't know who she was, her posting her and her family in Martha's Vineyard, we would swipe past. I don't know who these people are. I don't care. Right. And so intentionally look at their 0 to 1, or like how they're growing, what's obviously stopping you in the scroll, but also like, what did they do to grow? What did they do to be who they are now? Right. So yes. Danielle, this has been great. Any questions that y'all have? I didn't even look at the chat. I was selfishly asking all my questions. Any questions that you all have when it comes to video, when it comes to creating on LinkedIn, anything for Danielle? Y'all got?
I have a question, Danielle. Wow, wow, wow. You're a super user, super influencer. I follow you on TikTok and I'm inspired. Wow. But question for you, when you say you look at the analytics, what exactly, if you could like walk through the process, because I look at the analytics and I'm not taking away anything that's actionable at all. So I'm seeing like up and down, but what do you do and how are you purposeful about it?
Yeah, so TikTok has a separate app called TikTok Studio where you can see more comprehensive analytics for all your videos at once instead of just looking like video by video. And so you can see, at least I look at in the posts, like, I guess, could I share my screen? So
Yeah.
See, okay. And so it's an app, but you can also go on TikTok Studio and see it on desktop. But I like to go through different posts, or let's see, analytics, and they organize your content by, the most views, or like the most new viewers or new followers. And so I like to just look at the videos that are performing the best in terms of following, because that's what I'm trying to build right now, and analyze, okay, what about those videos attracted all these followers? And like, what can I do to emulate or like replicate some of that in future posts? So that's been really helpful.
I'm curious about when you say, what about that video? I mean, how do you kind of like reverse engineer it when you're looking at your own content?
Yeah, so it's like a combination of, like, let's see, looking at, okay, what hook did I have? Did I have text on screen? What are people commenting about too? That can also kind of give you some insight. Yeah, those are the biggest things.
Yeah, the hook in the comments. The comment section is gold, right? The comment section is gold. You'll start seeing like people asking questions or people calling out specific pieces of that video. But then for sure, the hook, right? Like you're not gonna give yourself enough opportunities even to go viral or get views if the hook isn't there, right? And so I think there's a lot of different pieces of videos or written posts that can lead it to working. I think the biggest one that we need to always look at is the hook, right? As we can like really learn what hooks work, why they work. Was it the size of the sentence? Was it all lowercase? Was it because I used black? Like, I would keep playing around with looking at the hook when I see something that does work, and continue to tweak from that hook. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Good question. Good question. Any other questions, y'all? Cool. I know we're over. So Danielle, one, thank you for your time. Like, seriously, thank you. And this is why I just love this community, right? Like, everybody's just been so open, like, yeah, I'll hop on, like, yeah, share. And I don't take that lightly at all. So thank you. Thank you for just pouring in. Thank you for innovating. It's been fun. I've been learning a lot from you as well. So just thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I think Tiana had a question though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hold on.
That's all right.
I did not even see it. I'm so sorry, Tiana.
It's okay. I couldn't get
Danielle said, that's great, but we
all
have one more question.
All good. I came back on just in time, so I
love it.
Earlier you mentioned about repeating the hook, right? That's been I'm like, how often should I keep doing it? And I heard you say you stopped after 5, but you're like, maybe I'm going back in with the double Dutch rope. Just curious, what is the best path or recommendation?
Yeah, I feel like just keep doing it until it doesn't work anymore, at least for me. Because I'm realizing, like, I used to think I needed to say something fresh and original in every video or post And I'm realizing that not everyone sees every post, and so you can be repetitive.
Mhm.
But like I think I kept doing the hook, and then I started seeing some of the videos not do as well. So I was like, okay, maybe let me
And
like
be
try
repetitive.
something else.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. And such a good reminder, y'all. I always say like 10%, it's probably like a smaller number than that. But if we just have in our heads, only 10% of my followers are even going to see this post,
Hmm.
right? Keep going. Keep sharing the same stories. Keep going. Yeah. Um, cool. Any other questions, y'all? Any other questions? Let me make sure I got everyone. I love it. All right, Danielle. I'll thank you again. Thank you again. Now for real. Thank you. And I'm just excited to see like even the next month, right? This has been crazy growth. Did that video was July 15th. So that was only a month ago.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild. How much do you think you've grown on TikTok in the last month?
In the last month, I mean, I doubled my audience basically.
That's
I was
wild.
stuck at 8K for like a year.
That's wild. That's wild. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen over the next month. And I just appreciate you. Appreciate this your time and just pouring in. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the tips. I mean, yeah, you and bringing this together. Like, if it wasn't for you, like giving me encouragement of, oh, talk about Harvard or do this in our like kickoff call, I probably wouldn't have been as audacious as I have. So
Yeah.
appreciate you.
You could just put me in the framework, like
Literally.
Casey, like how to no, just kidding. No, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It's easier
Yeah.
for me to say that, right? Like most people would probably just tell you that. It's harder for all of us to then step on the internet and then be audacious, right? So it
Yes.
has nothing to do with me. That's all on you actually being like, okay, let me do it. Right?
Yeah.
Desiree could have said that to you. Tiana could have said, like, talk about that girl. Like we all would have said that, right? But you leaned in and you talked about it. And you're doing it again in such a way that is thoughtful and providing transformation, right? Not just in a way that like, oh, I did this thing, right? But like, hey,
Yeah.
I did this thing. Here's what I learned from that space and environment. Here's how it can help you, you know?
Exactly.
Which
Yep.
is, I think, which is all what we all want to do in some way, shape, or form with the folks that we want to transform, right?
Mhm.
So I love that. Thank you for being a great example of, again, understanding your ICP, understanding how you want to transform them, and understanding sometimes what you might have to do that's a little uncomfortable for you to get them to hook in to transform them, right? That's
Yep.
what we're all trying to get better at. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.